I'm going to show you how to farm Hunter Symbols 3 in Monster Hunter Wilds. Note that the way to do this is the same for all of the different levels. You'll just need to fight different difficulty monsters divided by their star levels within the game. We're obviously going to do the tier 3 ones in this video. If you want lower level ones, that means you'll just have to do lower tier monsters. And the way this works is you need to farm tempered monsters. And in particular for the tier 3, it has to specifically be an 8-star monster. Now the 8-star monsters are basically the apex predators. So that's Raydau, Uthduna, New Udra, Jindahard, Gormagala, and Arkfeld. To start with, if you want to get your own farm rolling, you need to find one in the wild. So you can see I actually have New Udra coming up right here, and the way in which we are able to find this a little bit quicker is what you want to do is you want to bring your map up, go into the overview screen, and come across, you can see in the top right there, to the point where we can see the environment overview, and I can scroll down, and in this instance I can see that tempered New Udra is going to be here in about 25 minutes. I'm going to do some grinding because when you do what I'm going to tell you to do in a second, it just resets them all. As far as I can tell, it just wipes them off. I've had this once already and then tried to skip time forward and I lost it, so I don't want to have you guys in this position decide, oh, it's 25 minutes away, I'm going to just try and flip to a different thing, and then suddenly you've missed your chance at one of the monsters that you want. In this instance, I'm going to spend 25 minutes just gathering some stuff. You can't have enough trank bombs and you can't have enough healing, right? So I'm going to go grab some extra stuff. But you can see here, if I hover over all of these different zones, we can actually see everything that's going to be spawning. I can come here and I can scroll down. I can see there's going to be some other tempered monsters there. I can come down this way, see there's going to be other tempered monsters here. So we've got the Yan Koot Koot, but we don't care about any of those. We only care about the apex predator ones. There is nothing else on its way that I even care about. And just so that you know, you can fast travel to a different spot, come back, and the monsters will actually stay the same. So if I fast travel to the Wounded Hollow, decide I want to kill that Rathalos, I could do that, and then I could come back to the oil well where I am now to take on the New Udra. These monsters are locked in until we change the time again, basically, until we reset everything. If I fast travel out and fast travel back, the monsters should stay the same. If you are looking through all of that, you don't see the monster that you want. In particular, I'm sure lots of people want Arkfeld, but if you want the cool Arkfeld set, you need to get all of the different gems as well. It's just worth getting them all in. Now, once you've faced one of them, and it specifically has to be you've gone and found it in your own game, we can actually replicate it from there. So we only have to do this once. So I've already done Arkfeld in the manner that I'm telling you guys now, which is how I know this is going to work. And once you've done that, you can, in fact, come into your field survey history and you can pay guild points to replicate it. So in my case now, I can always summon a tempered Arkfeld, and the funny thing about this right now is that so few people seem to have it that as soon as I pop this, if I pop multiplayer, I'm going to get like lots of people coming in because everybody wants to get the parts from Arkfeld right now. I would suggest that you share, mostly because everybody does seem to be desperate for parts right now. Nothing to do with the difficulty or anything like that, although New Udra is a pain in the ass. That is what I'm going to do. I'm obviously going to go ahead, I'm going to face it off, and then you guys are going to see that I've got New Udra then in my menu once I've done it. If you don't have any of them, the way to change this is to come into the tent. Now, I'm not entirely sure which part of this changes it, but I've basically just been treating this like a lock. Okay, so I've started at fallow because I assumed that bad weather brings them out. Started in morning, and then I've worked my way through all day, and then I switched this to inclemency, and then I work through all day again until I get the monsters that I want, and that just seems to make them appear. And as we can see, after a small wait, we can see New Udra is waiting for me down in the depths. I'm, of course, going to go ahead and fight this, so we're going to make our way down there. Just in case you haven't done this before, we'll go through that you can't summon anybody in right now, so we have to fight it a little bit, and then the game will allow us to summon somebody partway through once the quest officially starts. So make sure you've eaten beforehand and that you are happy with your inventory before getting on, because obviously the tempered monsters are harder than the standard ones. Then we can jump on in to start the fight. I like trying to get a jump attack on them. In case you don't know, this is done as like a meter. So I like to get the jump attack in there, and then I'll mount back up and do that a few times so they can get the grab attack on it. It's just a nice way to start the fight out. But of course, you'll find that you need to do a decent amount of damage before we can actually get anybody else in here. So if you are planning to share, like I am, now is going to be the time that we just run off a little bit and shoot off our flare. Then once it's defeated, we can obviously go ahead, get all of our loot as normal. And because we don't get a big reward screen when it's us hosting the quest, if I go back to the smithy now, we'll find that we have 2 Hunter's Symbol level 3s. And in addition to that, when I go and visit Alma, I can now pay 300 guild points to be able to host that as often as I like. If you find a quicker way or a more reliable way to get these to spawn, please put it down in the comments. I'm sure people will find that very, very valuable. If I do find enough information for another video, I'll make sure that's linked at the end of this one. And I do think it's worth noting that we are at the climactic fire spring thing, so maybe it only happens during the bad times in each zone. Note that once you unlock one of these, just notice down on the right hand side there, you will only get 3 attempts for each one that you actually go out and hunt. So you will need to redo this a few times so that you have lots of tries.